Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am moving right along here with projects and getting this car put back together. Today I am installing Fortune Auto coilovers. I'm like really excited about these coilovers because I've always had entry-level coilovers. I tried to upgrade the springs on my current set of coilovers, but it just doesn't work that way because the strut itself is not valved to accommodate such a high spring rate. Basically, the strut can't keep up with the springs. I mean, like, I have heard such good things about these Fortune Auto coilovers. So the ones that I got are the 510 series. When I go to the track, I have been having issues with squat because the suspension in the rear cannot, you know, hold the car up. That was one of the main reasons why I was looking into new suspension. I spoke with Fortune Auto, explained to them what I was looking for and the issue that I was having with my current coilovers, and through conversation it was decided that the best setup would be the 510 series. Obviously could have started at the 500 series, but they figured that the design of the 510 series would help me out better. They are 24-way adjustable and they are supposed to be able to simulate up to 8K in spring rate. My car is a street car, all right? It's a street car with race car vibes. My car is not a strict track car and I don't want it that way. I want my car to be comfortable on the street because I love driving my car on the street. And I go to the track occasionally, which I really want to get more track time. But every time I go to the track, there's always something that's fighting me. My transmission one time, my axle broke another time, but I am slowly trying to set the car up so that it would be better on the track. And one of my issues was the squat in the rear, right? So I need a coilover that is capable to help with that squat. So my idea, what I am hoping for these coilovers, is that I can drive comfortably on the street, and when I go to the track I can do the knob adjustment to simulate up to the 8K. I don't know, exactly what I'm gonna need. I won't know that until I actually get to the track and start testing things out. But my hopes is that that knob adjustment will be able to simulate more spring rate that can help with the squat in the rear. But then when I'm leaving the track, I can adjust it back and drive on the street comfortably. That is what I was looking for in a coilover, and was speaking with the people at Fortune Auto. That is what these coilovers are supposed to be able to help me with. If you guys have been following along with my progress of getting this car back together, you obviously know that I have no engine in the car and the car is not ready to be moved. But I want to get the suspension on the car. I'm really not gonna fight with the height adjustment today because number one, I don't have an engine in the car, so the front is totally gonna be off. Once I put the engine in, obviously it's gonna go down with the weight. Second thing, I don't even have fenders on in the front of the car. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take the old coilovers off and I'm going to measure them up, and just to get a ballpark of what they were at before. Once I get the car together, then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna adjust them. The car has to be aligned and all of that stuff, and the height could play a part in that. So before I'm going to get the car aligned, I will definitely be adjusting the coilovers to make sure that they're all even and everything like that. So today I'm going to show you guys the coilovers and I'm going to show you how to install them and some little details that from reading the directions I found out. So let's get right into it. All of Fortune Auto coilovers are hand built, and with their certificate it tells you exactly who built it, on what date, people signing off on the quality inspection. It tells you the spring rates, the serial number, the valving profile, and yeah. I'm gonna put it in my binder with all my other car part stuff, but also in this packet it has dyno charts of the coilovers. Just these little details in a company make me even like them more. Also in here are the tools for the coilovers. There's Allen keys in here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave them in here. Yes, I'm gonna leave them in here. They're orange to match my car. Oh my gosh, look how good that looks. It just looks so nice. It's so pretty. This is one of those clamps that go on the strut so that you can bolt the brake line to. That's actually very helpful. You guys, like, just look at the quality of these coilovers. I keep wanting to say the word pretty because they're just really pretty. They just look well made. For instance, this part here where it goes over the control arm for the rears is all one piece. Let me show you quick what my other ones look like. So this is what mine look like right now. You can see where that bottom piece that goes onto the control arm is actually welded on to the bottom of the strut. Now we come back to the Fortune Auto and it is all one piece. These, I think that they're called a strut body. They are made out of aluminum. Have a magnet here so we can test it and it does not stick. They are aluminum. So for these locking perches, they are locked with a bolt. Normally there are two rings that you basically sandwich together and lock against each other. This ring tightens this sleeve here to the strut body. Okay, this is the top plate here. Here is the adjustment knob. These coilovers are 24-way adjustable. These are the 510 series and they simulate up to 8K in spring adjustment. So the springs that I have are 10K in the front, 12K in the rear. This is the exact same spring setup that I have with my old coilovers. But with the adjustment of these struts, the dampening system is supposed to be able to simulate up to 8K, which means that this 12K, if I adjust it all the way to stiff, it should simulate up to 8K in spring adjustment. These come with the nut. Okay, so that it's not threaded. That's okay though. So this is a piece that you can put on here so that you have a spot to mount your brake lines to in the front. The knuckles on my car actually have the mounting point, so I don't think that I'm gonna put this on because, well, I'll see what it ends up looking like. I can always go back and add this later if it seems like this might be a good idea. All right, so if you don't know already, I really love instructions. If a company with a part has an instruction manual, I'm going to print it out or at least download it and look at it and make sure that I'm doing the correct thing. With these coilovers, what is pretty interesting is that normally when you buy coilovers, they come pre-loaded, right? The spring comes preloaded on the coilover. I have actually seen where companies say if you mess with that preload, the warranty will be voided. With Fortune Auto, they actually want you to do the preload, which I thought was pretty interesting. I would have only known this by reading the instruction manual. So they have listed in the instruction manual for 2 different types of suspension. There are settings for the McPherson suspension, and then there is settings for the double wishbone and multi-link suspension. So the EK Civics have the double wishbone suspension, and that is the setting that I will be following. Okay, it says that the front preload should be 1/8 of an inch, and the rear must not exceed 1/8 of an inch. It also tells you how to do the adjustment. I would recommend either downloading or possibly printing out the instruction manual so that you can read on how to do this. Quick rundown, the way that you do it is that you measure the free length of the spring, which means that there's no load on it just when the spring is sitting with nothing touching it, which should be 7 inches, but we're gonna measure it anyway. You turn this ring to tighten it on the spring. It should compress 1/8 of an inch, and then you tighten it. That's how you do the preload. So let's do that right now. All right, so we got free length. There's no load on there. It is on the 7 mark. So now what we do is we tighten this ring up to put the preload onto the spring, and we have to go 1/8 of an inch, which will be this marking here. There's the 7 line, and the increment for 1/8 of an inch would be 2 marks on this tape measure here. There is the 1/2 inch line there, then you got 1/4, and then you got 1/8 right there. So that means these increments are 1/16 of an inch each. I'm just gonna go a little bit at a time and see where we get here. All right. Let's see what this is looking like. Ooh, that is 1/8 of an inch. That was pretty coincidental that that ended up being exactly 1/8 of an inch. All right, so now I'm just gonna do all of them so that we're ready. All right, so now that I'm finished with the preload on the coilovers, I'm gonna jack up one side of the car at a time, and I'm gonna take off a front and a rear, and I'm going to match up the height of the old coilovers with the Fortune Auto, and then I will install the Fortune Auto onto the car. I know that the height adjustment on the old coilovers was okay. I was gonna save it, but I got a new set of wheels, and they are 16s, which means that I'm probably gonna have to go up a little bit on the ride height. But for now, I still have on my old wheels, which are the Work Emotion CR Kais, which are 15s. So for now, I'm just gonna copy the ride height that I had on the old coilovers, and I will leave it at that. Another really cool thing about Fortunato coilovers that I don't think I mentioned already in this video is that the coilovers are fully rebuildable. You can send them back to them and they can rebuild them. They can revalve them if you choose to do another spring rate. If one of the struts or shocks blow out, you can send it back to them. There is actually maintenance that is recommended on these coilovers to send them back to them to, you know, get fresh seals and all that kind of stuff. They are also upgradable. There are add-ons where you can add on the two-way canister on there. This suspension is like a long-lasting item. It's not something that you buy this year and then you blow them out and then you gotta buy a new set. No, the same set of suspension that you buy can stay with you. You should have it for the length of your car. If you at some point decide to sell your car, then obviously you get rid of the suspension too, but yeah, it is an item that will be sticking with you through the life of your car. All right, so I'm gonna get the front and the rear of the old ones off of one side of the car so we can match them up for the ride height. All right, so I got the car jacked up in the air, supported with jack stands. I'm gonna start on the front. The front is typically the easiest to do. All you have to do is take this 17mm bolt out and then these two 14mm nuts on the top, and you can get that coilover out. For the rear, you have to drop the control arm. So yeah, let's start with the front. This bolt is a 17mm on this side, and this is a nut that is a 17mm on that side. So I'm gonna leave that there for now until I take these two off, and then we'll pull that out and drop the whole thing down. All right, so now I'm gonna undo this bolt. And so now this is free, and now I'm gonna drop it down. So, all right, so now to do the rear. In order to get this up and off of the control arm, we have to drop the control arm from the trailing arm. So we have to loosen this bolt and this bolt so that this control arm can drop down far enough so that we can get the coilover out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen these two bolts first, and then once that control arm comes down, then we are gonna come up here. And then same thing as in the front, there are two 14mm nuts up here. So once we loosen these, then the whole coilover will drop down. All right, now I'm gonna take these nuts off up here. Doing this one-handed here. So now I'm gonna take this bolt out. I'm going to pound this control arm down. Now I can get this out. All right, so I have a rear and I have a rear. I'm just gonna try to measure them up as best that I can. All right, so here are the two rears, and you can see this one is longer. So I'm going to spin this. Actually, you have to spin it a lot. Right. A little bit longer. You know what? I'm completely gonna take this off just out of curiosity so that I can see how much higher I can really go. All right, that's a lot. Woo! So that is what it there looks like, if anybody wanted to know. All right. So we're right at the very end here. Could go that much higher if I wanted to, but I probably don't need to. And actually, there is still a lot of threads up in here. I tightened this ring here but there is still this much up in behind of the spring. So if I wanted to get any more height, I could turn this whole sleeve down so that the threads in here get down lower, and then that would extend that further out that way. All right, so I'm just gonna put this to match the other one for now. That looks about even to me, so now turn this down. I'm not gonna lock this in place until it's on the car because this may have to pivot to get over the control arm, and for the upper mount also to go in the holes here. So that must get tightened on the car. Just gonna lock it by hand for now. And while I have that here, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this other rear one as well to match this one. Now I don't need this one anymore, so bye-bye. All right, they look pretty good and even to me, so now I'm gonna move on to adjusting the front. Okay, so now for the front, I'm gonna remove the bottom mount. Set that on the side, then adjust this. All right, that looks about even to me, so I'm just gonna go with it. So now I'm gonna put this down to lock this. All right, and now I'm gonna do the other front coilover. And I don't need this anymore, so bye. This needs to come down just a little bit. Yup, that was easy. This one was already really close. Lock that in place. I'm gonna put this bracket back on the strut once I put the strut in the car. All right, so let's go. I'm gonna install the front first and then we'll do the rear. All right, so to install the front, what I like to do is I like to hold the coilover up underneath with one hand and put the two nuts on the top with the other hand. Okay, I'm explaining this so that when I'm doing it, you understand what I'm doing. But I like to do it that way, and then I like to put the bracket or the fork or whatever you want to call it on after, because it is easier to do that to get that bolt in the lower control arm on if you do it that way. I mean, you can put that on there and put it back in like that, just personal preference. All right, so now I'm gonna put this bottom strut mount fork on. Before I tighten the bolt for the fork onto the coilover, I'm gonna put in the 17mm bolt on the bottom through the lower control arm. All right, so now to tighten this bolt back here, I'm going to lift up to close the gap in this and then tighten that bolt. Then now I'm gonna tighten this bolt. And then now I can tighten these nuts up here. And there is the front strut installed. Oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. So I do the same thing for the rear. I hold it up and then I put the nuts on the inside. Now we gotta get the control arm up and put the bolts through there. With these coilovers, it has a nut that goes on the back. Some of them come threaded where you just have to put the bolt in, but these have a nut, so don't forget to put the nut on the other side. And now I'm gonna put the bolt back in for the trailing arm. Then we can tighten these up here. There, now we are done. That's it for the back. We're done with the back. Oh my gosh, they look so good. Yeah, I need new bolts. I plan on getting new bolts before I finish the car. I just haven't decided what bolts I want to go with, so that is why I'm still using the old ones. I have a whole bunch of bolts that I want to change, so for now that looks ugly. The coilover itself looks very pretty. It's so cool how those rings match my hard race subframe brace, and the green for the Fortune Auto is gonna match all my radium stuff. Such a coincidence, blue and green and orange. They go together. All right, now for the other side. So I just lowered the car down, and I know you're supposed to give coilovers, springs, whatever, time to settle, but I was shaking the car and I can straight away tell the difference in height, because there's nothing really that weighs a lot that goes in the back of the car, but with the other coilovers, this was way lower. And I don't know if that's just the measurement or the stiffness that it is holding it that much higher, but we shall see. Yeah, we'll see when I get the car done and driving. Then we can actually see what they really feel like. So for the other side, I'm gonna be doing the exact same thing. You guys already know what to do on the one side, and you do the exact same thing on the other side. Got the other side in. There's the front. There is the rear. Now I just have to put the wheels on and jack the car down, and I am done. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that it was helpful. Obviously the car is not running, so I cannot really give you my honest opinion about driving the car. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm actually gonna drive the car and I can give you guys full details on how they feel and all of that good stuff. If you enjoy content like this, like I've been saying, please give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. That stuff really helps with my channel to get in the algorithm for other people to see the video, and also for my channel to grow. Share with your friends, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.